The sky is still, too still. You wake up expecting the familiar rhythm of morning, the slow sweep of sunlight across the walls, the quiet sense that the world is turning beneath your feet. But something is wrong. The sun is frozen in place. Shadows do not move. Time feels stretched. For the first time in human history, Earth has stopped rotating, not slowed, not wobbling, completely stopped. And it will remain this way for one full day. 24 hours that will redefine what it means to live on this planet. This is not a fantasy. This is a thought experiment rooted in physics, inertia, and cause and effect. And once Earth stops spinning, nothing on its surface escapes the consequences. To understand what happens next, we must first understand what rotation really means. Right now, at this very moment, Earth is spinning at roughly 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator. You don't feel it because everything around you, air, oceans, cities, your own body, is moving with the planet. That shared motion is stability. That motion is life as we know it. Now imagine that motion ends instantly. The ground beneath your feet does not gently slow. It stops, but you don't. In the first fraction of a second, inertia takes over. Everything not physically anchored to the planet's core continues moving eastward at incredible speed. The atmosphere tears itself away from the surface. Oceans surge forward like continental-scale tsunamis. Buildings, forests, and people are flung sideways at highway speeds multiplied many times over. At the equator, this force is catastrophic. Cities are erased before they can even react. Steel structures buckle. Concrete shatters. The wind alone, suddenly moving faster than the strongest hurricanes ever recorded, strips the land bare. This is not a storm. It is the planet shedding its skin. Nearer to the poles, the violence is less extreme but still devastating. Even there, the sudden halt produces shockwaves through the crust. Earthquakes ripple across continents. Fault lines snap under stresses they were never meant to endure. Within minutes, the world map is unrecognizable. But the destruction does not stop with the initial impact. As the atmosphere continues its eastward momentum, it creates a global planet-encircling wind system. These winds do not slow quickly. There is nothing to stop them. They scour the surface, carrying dust, debris, and water across thousands of kilometers. The oceans, once held in balance by Earth's rotation, begin to move as well. Water piles up toward the east, sloshing violently across basins. Entire seas migrate, coastlines vanish. New ones briefly form, only to be destroyed again, and above it all, the sun remains frozen in the sky. Half the planet is locked in endless daylight, the other half in unbroken night. Hours pass. On the day side, temperatures begin to rise relentlessly. Without the cooling cycle of night, heat accumulates. Deserts become furnaces, asphalt softens, electronics fail. Human survival becomes a race against dehydration and heat stroke. On the night side, the opposite happens. Temperatures plunge. Without sunrise, the cold deepens hour by hour. Crops freeze. Water systems rupture. Any survivors are forced to burn fuel simply to stay alive. The line between day and night, the terminator, becomes the only marginally survivable zone, a narrow ring of twilight circling the planet. Refugees, if they can move at all, are drawn toward it. But even this fragile balance is temporary. Because Earth's rotation does more than create day and night. It shapes gravity itself. Normally, rotation slightly counteracts gravity at the equator, causing Earth to bulge outward. When rotation stops, that balance disappears. Gravity subtly reasserts itself, pulling the planet into a more spherical shape. The crust shifts. Water begins to migrate toward the poles. Over hours, oceans slowly drain away from the equator, exposing vast stretches of sea floor while polar regions flood. New ice-covered seas form in the north and south. Equatorial regions dry further, becoming barren, cracked expanses. The planet is reorganizing itself. Life struggles to keep up. Plants on the night side stop photosynthesizing entirely. On the day side, many overheat and wither. Animals dependent on circadian rhythms become disoriented. Predators and prey lose the timing that guided them for millions of years. Human civilization, built on predictability, fractures completely. Satellites are another silent casualty. Many were placed into orbit assuming a rotating Earth beneath them. With rotation gone, their ground tracks shift. Some drift, others eventually fall. Navigation systems fail, communication collapses. And still, Earth does not turn. As the hours crawl toward the end of this impossible day, the planet begins to settle into a grim equilibrium. Winds slowly lose energy. Oceans calm into their new configurations. Survivors, few, scattered, traumatized, cling to whatever shelter remains. Then, without warning, the rotation returns. Not gently, instantly. The planet lurches back into motion, dragging the atmosphere and oceans with it. Winds reverse violently. Water that migrated toward the poles surges back toward the equator. New tsunamis race across freshly formed coastlines. The ground itself resists, then yields. Another wave of earthquakes, another round of destruction. When the dust finally settles, Earth is spinning again. Day follows night, shadows move. Time resumes its familiar rhythm. But the world that emerges is not the one that stopped. Entire ecosystems are gone. Coastlines are permanently altered. Climate patterns are broken. Human civilization, if it survives at all, is reduced to fragments, isolated pockets of technology surrounded by a reshaped planet. History is divided into before and after a single impossible day. This thought experiment reveals something profound. Earth's rotation is not just a background detail of astronomy. It is a quiet, constant force that shapes weather, oceans, gravity, biology, and time itself. It is so stable, so reliable, that we build our entire existence upon it without a second thought, until it stops. And if one day could do this, if 24 hours of stillness could rewrite the planet, what would happen if Earth slowed down not for a day, but forever?